Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls. Okay, I did it.
What the fuck is this?
I was just trying to make a video about superstitions. I didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, who would know, right?
Whether you're talking about luck or curses, you're talking about superstition, some sort of supernatural or cosmic influence that you hope to harness for yourself or avoid entirely. In psychology, we call this magical thinking. It doesn't always have to be religious, and in fact, most of the time it's not. Superstitions come from the fact that our brains are natural pattern seekers. Even when there isn't one, our brains try to find one. We'll dismiss coincidences, count things that are close or good enough, and in the end we have what we believe to be the cause and effect relationship. I used to teach about the development of superstition in my classroom, and it doesn't really work here in the YouTube environment. But what I would do is tell my students that they had 10 minutes to earn 100 points. I wouldn't tell them how they earned points other than that the normal school rules applied, so no touching. Then I'd put on a pair of sunglasses and just enjoy the show. Admittedly, I got this idea from a British television show called Trick or Treat. The episode where they discuss this happens to guest star David Tennant. And now I've lost half my audience. Anyway, once the class earned their 100 points, I asked if any of them figured out the rules. Half the class raised their hands and said stuff like every time they picked up a piece of trash or every time they blinked 3 times in a row. I asked them if it was every single time, and they said no. They thought I was switching between them and some other student, so they had incorporated the times that they were wrong into their own rule system. This is how superstitions are born. The students thought that their actions were causing them to earn points. In truth, I was wearing the sunglasses because I wasn't watching the students at all. In fact, I was watching my screensaver, and every time a new fish appeared on screen, they were earning a point. It had nothing to do with them whatsoever. But in that case, they were being told that their actions were directly awarding them points, which wasn't the case. Here in the real world, we aren't earning points, and we don't really know if there even are rules. So we're just all sort of figuring it out and hoping that there's a pattern. The theory on how superstitions are born comes from B.F. Skinner and his pigeons. Skinner is famous for his work on operant conditioning, which plays a huge role in superstition. Some of his pigeons were fed on a fixed ratio, which means they were fed after a certain number of actions were performed, or on a fixed interval, which just means they were fed on a certain time interval. He found that the pigeons who were on the fixed interval time schedule would perform the same actions that they were doing the last time they were fed, thinking that this would influence when they get fed again. And eventually that was true. They would get fed, reinforcing that superstitious behavior. Like my students and the pigeons, you'll forget all of the times that you were wrong and only remember the times that you were right. This will happen over and over until you become convinced that you know what the rule is. Now there are 2 types of superstition. There's good luck, which comes from finding 4-leaf clovers, carrying around rabbit's feet, throwing coins into a fountain, or wishing upon a shooting star. And then there's bad luck or curses, which come from breaking mirrors, walking under a ladder, having a black cat walk across your path, or opening an umbrella indoors. All of these are rules that we've constructed in order to figure out the cosmic feeding schedule. But this is just normal everyday life. What about situations where you purposefully need an extra boost of luck? Some athletes will wear the same pair of socks or unmentionables over and over because they won with them once before. Other people might carry around a lucky coin or other souvenir believing that it brings them good fortune. But this doesn't even come close to the king of superstition, gambling. Craps is by far the most superstitious game in any casino. While you're at the table, you are not allowed to say the word 7. Much like the Scottish play, just saying the name is bad luck. Even the dealers won't say 7.
And if you're explaining to a new player how to play the game, like, oh, how do I lose? You say, you don't want to see one number, and you don't see it on this layout, because on the layout it has 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. You know,
the 7 doesn't even appear on the layout.
7's not even on there.
Nice. That's
the only number you don't want to see, but you don't even talk about it.
Along with the superstition surrounding the number 7, players will often have their own way of imbuing the dice with luck, most often by blowing on them. I suppose if you're gambling, in addition to the normal gases, there is some sort of luck molecule you can exhale. In games like Blackjack, it's usually seen as bad luck for someone to come in the middle of a shoe. The shoe is the current set of shuffled cards. The idea is that the luck of the shoe has already been set up, and someone coming in the middle will mess up the feeding schedule and now we'll all lose. Some players will even slap the table as their card is being dealt to them in order to cosmically change it into the card that they need. In other card games like poker, people use card protectors that they believe are lucky. Card protectors are what you put on top of your cards in order to indicate to the dealer that you haven't folded even though you're not actively holding your cards. Some people bring multiple card protectors because eventually the luck imbued within them runs out and they need to be replaced. The easiest superstition to spot in a casino is called the gambler's fallacy. As an example, let's pretend that a coin has a 50-50 chance of landing on heads or tails. It's actually 51-49, but we're pretending, remember? Anyway, I flip it 4 times and it lands on heads all 4 times. What are you gonna bet next? Most normal people, including heavy gamblers, are gonna bet on tails, because it's bound to happen eventually. But this is the fallacy. The previous flips have no effect on the next one. It's still a 50-50 chance. Falling into this fallacy is easiest on games of pure chance like roulette. If the table rolls red 5 times in a row, people will start placing bets on black because it's bound to happen. What happens in the past will not affect what's going to happen in the future. The table could still roll red. Another fun thing to do at the casino is to watch the slot machines. That's where you'll find all the old ladies with their fanny packs. They aren't playing though, they're just watching all the college kids throw away their money. Why aren't they playing? Because they're waiting for the birthday girl to lose enough money so that she gives up and walks away, so that they can take their spot. She believes that the feeding schedule of the machine is run up and it's due for a payout. If only that naive college girl had stuck it out just a little bit longer. But believing the machine is due for a payout is no different than thinking red or tails is bound to hit. Nothing the previous player did has any effect on what the next player will get. But even people who work in casinos and know these things aren't true eventually find themselves believing in superstitions.
Yes, I truly believe in beginner's luck.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, I've never seen anything like it. It's uncanny.
You may think these things are confined to the casino or at least to the gambling or superstitious world, and you couldn't be further from the truth. Everyone participates in this, even you. It's part of the psychological theory of the illusion of control, the tendency of people to overestimate their ability to control events. You may scoff at the idea, but you very likely participate in a ritual as well. These may be for luck or some sort of practical purpose like a pre-game stretching routine or a prayer or some sort of specific meal. But these are all rituals. Even I have a ritual for every time I watch a new Game of Thrones episode. I watch the previous episode while making whatever junk food I'm going to have for dinner. I turn off the internet and silence my phone because that's the only way to avoid any spoilers, and then I sit back and enjoy. But that doesn't mean I have any control over what happens in the episode. This is where quasi-magical thinking comes in. This is when you know your actions don't have any effect on the outcome, but you do them anyway. Like when you shout no at the TV because your favorite character is about to die. Again. Or when you close your eyes and wish while you open up what you hope to be an acceptance letter to a university. You know your actions aren't going to go back in time and change the dean or the writer's mind, but you do it anyway because you have some cosmic hope that maybe your actions do have some sort of control, or at least maybe there is someone out there who does have control who can help you. And that's the overarching point of superstition, trying to figure out the rules of this random universe so that we feel like we have some sort of control or at least understanding of it. But the truth is, none of us have the answers, none of us have control, and there's nobody out there that we can ask to change the cosmic feeding schedule for us. So the next time you want to toss a coin into a fountain or wish upon a falling star or break a mirror, don't worry, nothing's going to happen because now you know better. Hey guys, if you learned anything from this video, go ahead and give that like button a click. If you'd like to see more from me, I put out new videos every weekend, so go ahead and give that subscribe button a tickle. If you don't, a dead girl is going to crawl out of your TV and haunt you for the next 5 years. Because of all of your help, I'm about to hit 250 subscribers, so I figured along with a couple challenges, I'd give you guys the opportunity to ask me anything you wanted about the channel or the content I've created down in the comments below. I'll do a more personal Q&A later on down the line. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see one of my older videos, how about this one?